Well, as you guys can see, I'm at the point of sighting in my ASM 51 Navy. The first shot was with my cone packed with lube. I'm not sure at this point which was number one, but I'm thinking the number one was low right, and the other two seem to be right in line with the height that I was hoping to get, not filed down the sight at all. So I'm going to shoot the next 3 shots and see where they end up. This is 20 grains of my homemade black powder that I'm using juniper as the charcoal. This is what I'm going to be pretty much shooting from here on out once I deplete my batch of willow based charcoal, my homemade gunpowder. But let's see what she's going to do with the next 3 shots. Let me get a close-up here, and we'll see. Well, not too terribly bad. I may have to open up the rear sight just a little bit, but I'm going to walk up and mark them off and reload and see what we get again. Stay tuned. Okay, this time I'm going to favor the left side of the V-notch. That way there it'll tell me if I have to remove anything off of the left side of the V-notch. Now, I have already deepened it just a little bit, and my aiming in this particular gun right now is I have the top of the front pin even with the top of the V-notch, and I'm trying to keep my point of aim to the center of the bullseye. So like I said, this time I'm going to favor the left side just a little bit, and the left side of the V-notch, and see if I can't pull that over. Then that'll let me know if I have to file a little bit off of the V-notch on the left side. How'd I do? It looks like I favored the left side a bit too much. I'm going to walk up, change out the sight, the target, and go back to what I was doing and see if it'll improve any at all. Well, I'm not sure what happened on that one. Obviously, you guys saw it first. When I get it into the editing program, I'll have a double look-see. Apologize for the wind, guys, but it's New Mexico. So I'm going to shoot my next 3 shots and see where they end up. Well, you guys seen it first. Not quite sure if that's just me shaking a little bit or if it's actually the gun. I'm going to load up and just keep at it and see what I've got. Well, I'm going to turn the camera around to the target, and it should be noted that this cylinder, I have loaded it up with 18 grains of my homemade gunpowder. I just kind of want to see the impact sight has changed. This gun just may like 18 grains, but let me get it turned around and focused, and we'll see where the impacts were. Well, it looks like just a little high, and it looks like they may have a double impact from the first 3 shots into this target. So I'm going to walk up close, mark them off, and shoot the next 3. Okay, one of them went a little high, and 2 of them are actually in the bull. So I'm going to shoot these next 3 and see where they impact. But obviously, at this precise moment in time, you will see before I do. How'd I do? Let me walk up close and see for myself. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to see this as well as I can, but I have 2 wads here, one sitting on top of the other, and I'm hoping that you friends can see the rifling that is imprinted onto these wads. And this is, again, one of the reasons why I view these as gas checks instead of, you know, a lubrication delivery system, although it does function as that very well. So I'm going to try to get just a hair closer. I'm hoping the camera will focus, but you can hopefully see the imprint of the rifling, which tells me that these wads, my homemade wads, are actually filling that chamber. Obviously, I'm going to make these my last shots, just like Black Powder Shooter 44. Every time you seem to come out here and do some shooting, the breeze is going to pick up. And like I said before, it's New Mexico. If you wait for the wind to stop blowing, you'll never get anything done. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot these last 6 shots once again. This is my Juniper homemade black powder, 18 grains, number 11 percussion caps, as if that really makes a difference, guys. But I'm going to go ahead and shoot all 6, and then I'll turn the camera to the target, and we'll see where we're at. As of right now, I'm mildly pleased with it shooting 18 grains, but these next 6 shots will kind of determine if I'm really going to move this, adjust the sight or file the sight down any at all. I might just hold it a little higher in the V-notch, but I will determine that later. Well, it looks like I might have to rethink things just a little bit, or maybe I should clean the gun and see what happens after I clean it. I'm just going to leave it be for the time being, obviously. Here's an afterthought or an after observance. Some of the wads that have embedded themselves into the 2x4s still have a little bit of unburnt powder. This particular wad is clean, or at least does not have any observable unburnt powder, but I've dug a few out earlier that clearly have unburnt powder on them. I've kind of already wiped most of those off because, like I said, this is kind of an afterthought, but I just find it interesting and curious. In fact, I've got little pieces of wad right here, or a little forget pieces of wad, it's actually unburnt powder. Or at least it appears to be unburnt powder. I just find that interesting because all the wads that I picked up between the shooting bench and the target, there was no evidence of unburnt powder on those wads, but I had 4 in the target that had unburnt powder on them. I do know that I'm at the bottom of my container, my metal container, and I keep that in a environment that is not supposed to be any moisture. I do have some of those little silicone gel packs or those silicone packs inside the tin cans, but what I do not have is one of those in my flask, and I'm wondering if the flask is not getting some moisture in it and whatever powder is resting on the bottom is not getting contaminated with that. So anyhow, that's my excuse as to why the shots went wild toward the end of the video here. That's my synopsis. You can either buy that bullshit or not. That's up to you. But that's the bullshit I'm sticking with. So anyhow, I'm going to clean everything up and obviously clean the gun and then kind of reassess things when the weather turns better for shooting. Okay, so upon bringing my revolver into the shop here to clean it, I think I figured out the reason why that last cylinder shot high left. It appears that that wedge has loosened up. If you recall in a video or 2 back, I talked about having to replace that wedge because the factory was looking pretty bad. So I bought a Uberti wedge and I fit it, and I had to refit it again because the barrel wobbled just a hair. So I'm surmising that that's the reason why that last cylinder shot as bad as it did. So I've refit the wedge, and of course I won't know for sure until I get it back out on the shooting range, hopefully in another day when it's not so windy and so aggravating. We'll be able to see if the adjustment to the wedge will actually pan out. Bye.